I was reminded at a certain point, Enkyo Roshi and I are sitting up on this bluff, and very nice man had said, now be sure, it's totally clear sky. Everybody, tell everybody, about lightning. And we're sitting up there and the clouds are kind of arriving, and all of a sudden this lightning bolt sort of jumps out of the sky and this great crack of thunder, and we were just like two marmots, running down. And of course lost the trail. And I gave a little talk about how I intentionally lose my way. Every day that I went out, even on our mountain here, I know Clinton's laughing because he is victim to my penchant for getting lost. But there's something so wonderful about getting lost. Because if you're not lost, you think you know where you're going. And if you're lost, just completely wandering, aimless, you really don't know where the heck you're going. And I told the story in session, Enkyo Roshi, who is a Capricorn, I'm not sure what that means, but that's what she announced to me at a certain point. She said, Roshi, I think we are supposed to go that way. And I said, well, I don't think so. I think we're supposed to go that way. And we both had this extremely fulfilling moment of not agreeing with each other. And there's something just wonderful about the quality of a relationship where agreement isn't present. But there is some extraordinary latitude in the relationship that lets disagreement be a good thing. So I won't, a lot of you were in the session, so I'm not going to tell you that story, but the whole story is very dharmic. But as I was thinking about our enjoyment as two friends together, I remembered the story. And Claire, we were up, in the high mountains of Tibet in October. And the more intrepids, which include Enkyo Roshi and, of course, Claire, went up to the turquoise Tear Lions Lake, or some very romantic, beautiful Tibetan name. I wandered quite below it, but it's up there. This incredibly beautiful lake that apparently, people circumambulate around and they leave their treasures up there and so on. And Roshi, when she came back down, she said, well, I had a vision. Well, there are people who have visions and there are people who have visions. And Roshi and I are not the kind of people who have those kinds of visions, if you know what I'm saying. We're kind of plain rice. And I kind of perked my ear up and I said, what was your vision? She said, I looked into the body of the lake and I saw Manhattan's high-rises. And I realized this is where I practice Dharma. I was really moved by what she said. It's not that she was sitting up there complaining about having to live in New York City. I mean, what she saw on the lake was her life. That's her life. And that lake is a kind of, and I love the word that you use, Liesl, for Manasorovar, an aqua mirror, is a mirror of whatever's going on for us. And for Enkyo Roshi, it was this revelation that the mountains are there, but also the high-rises are there. Nirvana is here in this moment, samsara is also here. And when that memory passed through me as we were coming down the trail, because we will tend to romanticize the mountain or the monastery as opposed to our everyday job in the world and feel some kind of dissatisfaction with our practice in the everyday world. Enkyo Roshi is such a wonderful example of appreciation, what Maezumi Roshi calls appreciating one's life. It's really sweet. So our friend Brother David was here a couple of weeks ago, and we got into a wonderful conversation about complaining. And we realized that a lot of us feel kind of victimized by our circumstances. And a sort of low level of that victimization, of not feeling in our bodies, in our lives, complete, is this sort of whining and complaining about our circumstances. And I don't know if I told the story in the public Dharma talk or the weekend with Brother David, but it was about a very wonderful person who was closely associated with Upaya for many years until he died, the philanthropist Lawrence Rockefeller. And he told me this story. He said, you know what the secret to wealth is? Did I tell the story? Oh, good. Because it's the kind of, question. What's the secret to wealth? What is it? And then he said, I'll tell you what the secret to wealth is. But before I tell you what he said, what do you think the secret to wealth is?
Giving it away.
Yeah, giving it away. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. What else?
Accepting what is.
Accepting what is. Wonderful. What else?
Gratitude.
Oh. That's what he said, gratitude.
You already told the story.
Okay. See, this is the only one in the room who remembers it. Yay. At least not everyone has short-term memory loss. Then he said, if you don't have gratitude, then no matter how much you have, you're poor. A couple of you weren't here also, so that also helps. Because you're always looking at what you don't have. If you have gratitude, then you're never not wealthy. I just really love that. I really love that feeling of, how do we, in our practice, open up this spring, this deep spring of gratefulness in our lives?